This module covers only one file, actually. It is a file named ntds.dit. ntds.dit is a database of the Active Directory. If you go there, we run cmd, cd windows, by default the location for the Active Directory database is under ntds, so cd ntds. This is a domain controller, dir/a. You can see there is an ntds.dit database. This is the main database of the Active Directory. So if you do an analytical work on the AD, it makes sense to analyze ntds.dit because it may be interesting. Of course, if you have a live machine, it is not that easy. If you try to copy it, let's say copy ntds.dit into the root of the C drive, it will be not allowed to be copied because it is in use. It is not that uncommon scenario. Obviously, it is in use by the Active Directory services. You have a couple of options. You can take it offline. You can create a snapshot, including very special tools for this purpose. You can also stop Active Directory. Actually, NTDS service, we have such a service, sc.exe, sc.exe, query ntds. We have Active Directory services running. Stopping it is not that easy. sc.exe stop ntds, because it has some dependent services, so you have to stop everything. Of course, then you can copy it easily. However, you may need some other stuff as well. So it is not the very universal way of stopping it. And after you stop it, please do remember you should restart the server as soon as possible, as it is the easiest way of the recovery from the stopping the service. You can restart entire tree of dependencies again, but still, I would suggest you restart a server after you manually stop NTDS service for some forensic purposes. If you prefer to take the file from other sources, not live file, you can take it from the snapshot. For the snapshot, there is a pretty convenient way of taking everything via NTDS util. NTDS util tool, which is a built-in tool on domain controller. Command for taking a copy of the ntds.dit is activate instance ntds, and then IFM, and then within the IFM you can create a full backup, create full, and then specify a folder, whatever. It will be created anyway, and such folder will appear. So the snapshot is created, and everything that is tempting to be taken is dropped into this folder. We can go here into this folder under C, ASD, whatever. You can see ntds.dit, you can see some log, and you can see interesting registry hives, all taken with built-in Windows tools. For analysis of such file, the ntds.dit itself is a JET database. It is very inconvenient for manual analysis. I will copy it as path, shift copy as path. I will launch as a database viewer, and I will open database file, and I will paste my name of the file. So here comes the Active Directory database being displayed. Obviously, it is not this one table. We have a couple of tables, and here we have a data table containing the real AD data. The very first thing you can observe right here, it is the database table for the Active Directory database has over 1000 of columns, which is not that comfortable when you have to browse it, especially as huge part of those are simply empty, so it is not the most convenient, but you can. Another thing you will face when you try to analyze the database file from the Active Directory on your own is naming for those columns is somehow cryptic, to say it politely. So column names are absolutely meaningless. So you have to figure out what the column is responsible for, or you can find some online repositories giving you kind of a hint how to interpret the column name in a particular case. It will display in a moment the number of columns and number of rows. Makes it relatively slow. Yet another thing, here you have it, and a couple of commands is quite regular, but then such naming comes in, and if I scroll right, you can see naming for columns is not that useful, and huge part of those is empty, as attributes of objects within Active Directory are empty quite often. So browsing it this way is not the most convenient thing I could imagine, but you can clearly spot it is actually a JET database. Another way you can use for browsing through it is use PowerShell, because with PowerShell you can load DLLs responsible for opening JET databases. I can provide you two simple scripts I have created. This one is maybe a bit simpler. This script, I will share it with you if you like this way. This script is analyzing the ntds.dit file, trying to figure out if we have anything within the ntds.file responsible for those columns, for those attributes, because within those columns Active Directory stores clear text BitLocker key for the recovery purposes, as we can store Active Directory information about recovery keys for BitLocker for clients within the domain. We can also create a PowerShell script dumping them for just analysis, for easy recovery, for whatever else, for whatever you need them. So we can approach it this way. Please analyze this script on your own. Another one, it is doing a bit more advanced stuff. It is way longer because this one is trying to open two different databases. I'm providing sample databases if you want to play on your own, the current one and the old one. And the diff scripts creates a nice HTML report about the difference between two different versions of the same ntds.dit file. Please do not compare ntds.dit coming from two different servers, because results will be significantly different. But if you have like a backup, something like this, you can easily find what changed since the last time you have played with the ntds.dit file. Yet another thing when it comes to ntds.dit is some fields within the ntds.dit are encrypted. So we have a data, for example, for user password, but the data is not stored within a clear text, it is encrypted. Actually, it's not about password, it's actually about the hash, but anyway, it is encrypted anyway. And it is encrypted using the system registry Hive, which means a system file is being taken as a part of the snapshot. This is how this data about hashes can be decrypted. Of course, we can automate everything, not only with PowerShell, we can automate everything using some other stuff. I have a folder tools ntds with the stuff you can use for analyzing the Active Directory database. Of course, you can dump it into the CSV, analyze it in Excel, but we have a bunch of nice utilities. So it is tools, ntds, libsdb, the nice free tool exporting the Active Directory database tables into some other Format, give me a second, I will copy it, I will switch to desktop, I will paste it, and I will specify that ntds.dit. This is my copy I have taken some time ago. As you can see by date, ntds.dit and the system file. If I export this particular file, it will be exported into bunch of database. New folder is created under the local location, and then those tables, you can observe them as well within the asset database viewer. So those are the same table being exported in a binary form into the particular files. Here within this particular ntds.dit we have 13 different files. The number may be different sometimes. It depends on the version, it depends on the moment in time when you collect the ntds.dit file, so it may be different, but anyway, sooner or later, of course this database is quite small, the entire ntds.dit file is 18 megs, it may be gigabytes in large organization, but it was exported. Obviously data table, the one I have the chance to show you in as a database viewer, containing the real data, is the biggest one. Now we have a bunch of Python scripts under my C tools and NTDS and NTDSX. There's a bunch of Python scripts playing with those expanded tables, trying to find some interesting information, and for this particular case I will use the DS users, shift right click, copy as path and then paste, just to show you a syntax. You can specify that where is the data table, where is a link table, another table being exported by the previous tool, and you can specify some some parameters, including this one is quite interesting if you want to dig into deep forensic, I will call it, about password hashes. Displaying you password hashes of the stuff from your Active Directory database. So the location is the data table which stays within the ntds.export, and then data table, and then you will need a link table which is ntds.export link table. What a surprise with naming, and then ---- password hashes, and then the system location, which is in my NTDS folder on my desktop, and the system file is here. I can copy the full path again and copy as path, right click, paste, and now the database is analyzed, and if some encrypted data is being spotted as a value within the database column and row, it is being decrypted using data taken out from the system file, because the decryption key is there. We will have only hashes, but under some conditions hashes are quite interesting and quite useful as well, so you can see the data from the ntds.dit being expanded and decrypted. Now you can take this hash and you can try to find it in the database of hashes, rainbow tables, or you can try to crack it on your own or whatever, or simply compare it to other hashes to figure out if such hash is not too common in your AD, because it would mean that these passwords staying behind this hash is too common in your AD, and is something probably you want to address. Anyway, ntds.dit, the Active Directory database, is just a database. Everything is about knowing what is inside and about the set of tools allowing you to dig through it in an automated way, because the manual one is quite, well, I would say boring.